Hello, this is Real World Audio, and this is a truly special video today. I'm going to introduce to you the most iconic recording, audiophile recording ever. And as you can see, this album was available on pre-recorded metal tape cassette as well. Who would have thought? But probably some of you who know Cantate Domino already know about it. But of course everyone knows about the CD version, that it was also available on compact disc. And of course most of us have heard it on a CD. And the CD cover looks exactly like the LP cover. This background and the negative of a church and the text on it. And the label, the recording company who issued it was Proprius. It is a Swedish audiophile label, and I am a huge fan of Proprius. They really have fantastic sounding recordings. The engineers really knew what they were doing, and they have really fantastic musicians and singers as well. And if you do not know what Cantate Domino is, it is a choir music sung in a church with organ accompaniment, and as Nelly is whispering it in the background, it is essentially Christmas music, or what you would think about as Christmas music. So, and of course, Cantate Domino used to be my number one test record to check for changes in the sound after a component change, after a tweak. I always listen to Cantate Domino. Of course, I listen to others as well, but predominantly Cantate Domino was my number one. And I often had made blank faces to my neighbors when they asked me that, you are really into Christmas, and I was like, what? Why would you think that? Because you're always listening to Christmas music, and that's when I realized. Actually, Nelly told me that they must be thinking about the Cantate Domino. So often I drove my neighbors nuts. Sometimes I had days when I played it probably like 12 hours a day. No kidding. So you can imagine that I have heard this album a few times, and if you do not know about it, I really highly recommend it to you. I think probably if you have streaming, it's most likely that most streaming services offer Cantate Domino to stream, so that you can get familiar with it and the quality that it represents. And of course, I can really recommend it to use as a test recording for your audio adventures for several reasons. One of the reasons is that it's natural music. So by it I mean that it was not done in a studio. It was not EQ'd, it was not compressed, it was not tailored or processed to suit a studio engineer's idea of how it should sound, but it was just without any EQing, recorded in a venue that has a natural sound. So when you listen to music, I think this is these are my thoughts, that it's really critical to have good acoustics with it, because you can have very good musicians, but if they are playing in a studio, it will sound messed up, no matter how hard the recording engineer is working at it, because a studio does not provide the necessary acoustic background for acoustic instruments. it will always result in a studio sound which is much, much inferior to a true live recording. To me, any studio recorded music is really just second or third rate compared to the live event. And I have friends who are musicians, and I've heard them play live. I heard their recordings, even though they made recordings in really good studios. It's really just a shadow of the real thing. And here, this recording is such a landmark because it is the real deal recorded at the live venue. But while in most cases, when it's a live recording, the recording process is not done to the same thoroughness, to the same extent as if recording in a studio. Because when you are in a studio, the recording engineer knows his studio acoustics back and forth. He knows every detail about it. He has all his recording equipment set to perfection. And when you take all your recording gear out on the field, you have to do testing. You have to find a position for the microphones. You have to find the levels to record the. So it's a really demanding task that demands much more from the recording engineer than just pushing a button or reading a few textbooks. It really requires someone who's a professional, and who instinctively and intuitively knows about music as well and has a great hearing. And this recording was done to perfection. And of course, of all the recordings you can do, I think the hardest feat to accomplish is to record church acoustics and to record organ in the church, of course, and also to record a choir, a human chorus, like dozens of humans singing together. And these are terribly difficult feats, and these are the ones that truly test the limits of your stereo equipment. So if you have a nice guy playing his bass and another one playing a saxophone, the difficulty of that small jazz performance, even though they can play very loud, the complexity of that recording is truly dwarfed by the complexity that this recording demands on your audio system. And you can test every aspect of your stereo with this record, from tonal balance through frequency extension, low level detail handling, transparency, clarity, imaging, everything. This album is the absolute peak of all of those aspects. So thank you for being here and sharing my journey's experiences. I mean, being on the receiving side of my sharing. And I'd like to add that this album truly has phenomenal musicians, phenomenal sounding organ, a church that has a phenomenal acoustics, and it's really one of a kind recording that's truly worthy of the title of the best recording ever. And of course, I will be saying that probably a couple more times, bringing you several more recordings which are truly fantastic, phenomenal, and I can recommend them wholeheartedly. But this one, to me, is the best recording because of all the features that come through it. It's the recording process was itself done fantastically. The venue is absolutely smashing. Performers are fantastic. The organ is a beautiful Swedish organ, absolutely phenomenal. and and basically all the aspects of this recording make this truly my number one recommendation ever. So that's it for now, and I'm going to follow up with another video on the different pressings of this recording, because this is how most of you will know it, from this black background, white front. But this is not the version that's the most coveted. So thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share your friends, and check out Cantate Domino. Thank you. Bye bye.